everyone. Welcome to CAT by LPT. This channel is dedicated to the preparation of CAT and other management entrance tests. My name is Neelam and I'm going to be your trainer for reading comprehension and verbal ability. I hope all of you are controlling your nervous energy that you might be having at this point of time. The exam is nearing, you may have a lot of jitters, but the only actionable input is that just calm your nerves and focus on your strategy. In today's video, I'm going to discuss one very important section of verbal ability part. In verbal ability section, you will find para summary question where one paragraph will be given and 4 options will be given to find out the perfect summary which summarizes the author's main idea. That question is a regular feature and a lot of students face a lot of ambiguity about which answer or which option captures the author's emotion perfectly. So in today's video, my objective is to give you 3 actionable inputs to find out the perfect summary of the paragraph. And then we will do one CAT 2024 question of para summary to implement those inputs, right? So as to apply those inputs right there in one of the previous year question. Okay, I hope that will help. Chaliye, let's start. So para summary question, one paragraph will be given. Paragraph will be on any subject, can be on any subject, between heaven and earth, any subject can be given as a subject of your paragraph and followed by 4 options and you will have to type your answer. You will not be given options there. So in this question, your objective is to understand what the author says, what his main idea is, and which option captures the author's tone, his mood, his idea, his opinion perfectly, right? So that is what your objective is. So let's understand what are the tips to find out the right answer. So first, as it's very important for you to do the question of finding the main idea, weakening and strengthening, similarly for finding the summary as well, you have to understand what the author's main idea is. What is it that he wants to put across? What is it that he wants to drive home loud and clear? So that is what his main idea is. So main idea ko samajhna is of paramount importance because unless you understand the main idea, you won't be able to get what the summary of that main idea will be. So please understand what author wants to put across by putting up that paragraph together or by giving example or by giving statistics. What is it that he wants to prove by giving all those facts together, right? So understand his main idea. Usually you will get the main idea by reading the first line carefully or the last part carefully, or whichever statement states his opinion will give you the reflection of his main idea. So when he quotes someone, that's not his opinion. When he gives example, that's not his opinion. What he states in very emotive language, that is what his opinion is, right? It may be emotive, it may be analytical, but what he says about that issue is the main idea. Try to understand that. So understand the main idea is the first principle. Second thing is, try to distinguish the main idea from example, detail and illustration. However convincing one example may be, or however widely one example has been discussed, or some statistics have been discussed, or some anecdotes have been discussed, they remain examples. They are always in the service of main idea. They do not become main idea. So don't get dissuaded by one specific example because you may feel that example is kind of covered in the vast majority of the paragraph, but that remains an example. Example भले ही उसने कितनी बार बात की है, कितने बड़े पार्ट में बात की है, but that remains an example. Example is always in the service of an idea. Chase that idea. So distinguish example from the idea. Third, choose the option that is accurate. Of course, that is going to capture the author's emotion, his feeling, his tonality. Concise, something which is not very elaborative, something which is not very extended, but rather something which in a very concise way elaborates or puts author's views. And third, it's complete. There could be 2 ideas author has expressed in the paragraph, and there could be one option which is just partially capturing the idea of the author. So that option will not be complete. If he has put up 2 ideas, 2 points, 2 opinion, your summary should actually incorporate both the ideas. So the option which is concise, because you are finding summary, something which is complete and something which is accurate. Accurate means something which is not twisting, something which is not reverting his idea, and something which is not distorting the meaning of his idea. So accurate, concise and complete. Okay? So these are three principles that you need to keep in mind when you find the summary of given paragraph. Now let's try to apply these rules on a given question of last year CAT. Now this paragraph, I'm going to read out the paragraph, and I'm also going to give you time so that you can read it on your own. So scientific research shows that many animals are very intelligent and have sensory and motor ability that dwarf ours. ठीक है, तो यहाँ पे ये बोल रहा है कि बहुत सारे साइंटिस्ट रिसर्च ये बता रहे हैं कि बहुत सारे एनिमल्स में जो एबिलिटी होती है, सेंसरी एंड मोटर एबिलिटी इतनी स्ट्रांग होती है कि वो कई बार हमारी एबिलिटी को भी ड्वार्फ कर देती है, मतलब वो बेहतर होती है हमसे. Then he gives example. That's his idea. Please understand, this is idea, right? So he's kind of talking about the ability animals possess. And then he says dogs are able to detect disease such as cancer, diabetes, warn humans of impending heart attack and stroke. So these are examples. ठीक है? उसी आइडिया को illustrate करने के लिए उसने एग्जाम्पल दिए डॉग्स के कि डॉग्स क्या क्या कर सकते हैं. Then he gives example of elephants, whales, hippopotamus, giraffe and alligators use low frequency sounds to communicate over long distance, often miles. He gives another example of these animals to put across the same point, right? To substantiate the same point कि इन animals में भी ability होती है कि they can communicate even at a long distance, often miles. So these are examples. If we understood the idea, we can just browse through the examples so as to understand what he would substantiate here. Now, many animals also display wide-ranging emotions, including joy, happiness, empathy, compassion, grief, and even resentment and embarrassment. Then he comes across, another idea, which says that other than having these sensory and motor ability, they also feel emotions. और सारे emotions की उसने बात की अलग अलग तरीके, wide ranging बोल के उसने सारे emotions का भी नाम लिख दिया कि grief भी feel करते हैं, joy भी feel करते हैं, सब कुछ, right? So if I read this part, wide ranging emotion, मैं वहाँ पे भी समझ सकती थी कि मुझे ये पूरे पढ़ने की ज़रूरत. This is how I can minimize my time, reading time. ठीक है, wide ranging emotion मतलब हर तरीके के emotion. Then it is not surprising, फिर वो again उसका opinion आ रहा है. These are example. Again, another opinion. It's not surprising that animals share many emotions with us because that's his reasoning. That's his reason. क्योंकि we also share brain structure located in the limbic system that are the seat of our emotion. So he gives you a reason why they are sharing the emotion, because our structure of the brain and their structure of the brain has some similarity, and that is why we feel the same emotion that animal feel, or animal feel the same emotion that we have, right? He gives you the reasoning, right? So first part idea, last part idea, between those two idea you have examples. Dogs के example, animals के example and emotion का example. ठीक है? So if you understood the main idea, as I said, the main idea is to be understood clearly. The main idea is that they have some ability which give them the power to understand emotion and have some sensory abilities that they can predict something. ठीक है? So that's what it is. देखिए, अब options में देखिए. So in earlier videos or in shorts as well, I have discussed it time and again that examiners usually just distort the author's opinion, and that's their classic trap that they are going to lay before you. Usually they just distort the author's opinion. You will find one of the options here distorting the author's opinion. First देखिए, animals can show emotion which are typically associated with humans. Yes, so that is correct. But क्या correct होना sufficient है summary होने के लिए? Yes, it's correct. It's factually correct. Typically, those emotions which are associated with human, animal also showcase those emotions. But is that the summary? Is that capturing the entire emotion or entire idea author has put forwarded in the passage? Not. So this is a classic trap, half correct, half incorrect. Or, this is partially correct, right? But it's not capturing the entire summary of the passage. It's factually true, but not summary. And author is not asking you which is factually true, which of these is true. So A is not your answer. ठीक है? Now look at D. Animals are more intelligent than us in sensing danger and detecting diseases. So you may be prompt to choose this option because he said sometime उनकी motor ability इतनी होती है which dwarf us, मतलब वो हमको भी बौना बना देती है उनकी ability के सामने, हम छोटे हो जाते हैं उनकी ability के सामने, right? He has actually, author has not clearly discussed the ability of the human to predict these things. He has said animals are more intelligent than us in sensing danger and detecting diseases. This is just distortion of author's opinion, right? Because he has not talked about, author has not talked about what abilities and how much ability humans have to detect these incidents. So that is also clear distortion. Answer is not B. Now look at B and C. B says the similarity in brain structure explains why animals show emotion typically associated with humans. And C says the advanced sensory and motor ability of animal is the reason why they can display wide-ranging emotions. So C, देखिए ध्यान से, this is again the reversal of cause and effect. This says that advanced sensory and the motor ability of animal is a reason why they can display wide-ranging emotions. So emotions, if you read it carefully, then here he says our brain structure is similar and that is why they feel emotions. And this option says sensory and motor ability is the reason why they feel wide-ranging emotion. The reason for wide-ranging emotion is different and the reason or the effect of sensory and motor ability is different. So that is what is clearly the reverting the cause and effect logic. Be wary of it. This is a very common trap again, which, examiner give you. Now here, the similarity in brain structure explains why animal. Why? Because author at the end told because, right? And that's the reason animals show emotion typically associated with humans. Motor ability, sensory ability, and emotion. Everything is captured in this option because it talks about all the ability that author has put forwarded that animal possess. So B captures the idea and both the ideas, and that is why B is your answer. Okay. To summarize, the para summary question gist is that you understand what the main idea is. That's something which has to be done, right? You have to understand what the main idea is. Then you understand, again, you understand examples and main idea are different. Don't be overburdened, overwhelmed by the example. जैसे इसमें बहुत first part and second part, सिर्फ 2 lines ऊपर, 2 lines नीचे are expressing the main idea. बीच का पूरा paragraph is about example. But is example what is going to be covered in your summary? No. Examples are to be excluded from your summary. ठीक है? वो example क्या show कर रहे हैं, वो example क्या prove कर रहे हैं, that should be your summary. And third, of course, is your idea should be, your summary should be complete. As I said, first option is not complete, which was capturing only the one part, not the entire part. It should be accurate. It should not reverse the logic. It should not distort the logic. It should not change the tonality of the author. It should also be concise. But conciseness should not come at the expense of accuracy. Okay? Even if it is a long option, but if it accurately captures the author's emotion, that should be your answer. So don't go for something which is shortest and that should be your answer. No, conciseness should be there because it's summary, but conciseness should not come at the expense of accuracy. Always accurate option which captures the author's emotion. Thank you very much for watching this video. I hope this helped you. Apply these 3 tips when you do para summary question, especially PYQ questions. Thank you very much.